What's going on, guys? Skyhound here, also known as Geek Detective Pierce. If it hasn't been clear already, for those of you guys who have watched, I guess I would say a certain character, if my screen isn't clear enough, well, today is Takamachi Nanoha's birthday. And I'm not joking here. If you look on the wiki for this show, it does mention her birth date. So, on top of that, this year, later on, it is going to be the 20th anniversary of the franchise, at least the start of it. So, with that being said, I'm going to give a quick summary with regards to the first movie, which is, in this case, a retelling of the first season, but they added a little bit more context to this. So, for those of you who don't know what it's about this 9-year-old girl named Takamachi Nanoha, and she comes across this mage by the name of Yuno, and he's guarding a magical device that's referred to as Raising Harto. And since she's a girl from Earth and doesn't know much about magic, she slowly starts to learn at a pretty quick pace in terms of, you know, how to use it and all of that, because she has a lot of magical potential. And over time, she learns about not just about the incident that she's found herself in, but also there's another girl that is trying to find what is known as the jewel seed, one of the many lost logia artifacts in the magical world, as you can see here. And the thing is that Fate Testarossa is unfortunately a victim of her circumstances, and quick spoiler, her mother, Precia Testarossa, is not only a tragic villain, but she obviously is driven mad by the passing of her own daughter, who looks a lot like Fate. But you'll learn when it comes to the season of Strikers how the name came about. In the movie for this, they give a little bit more context. Persia Testarossa was a bright mage and a researcher who actually had a daughter, and unfortunately, something happened, and well, Persia couldn't move on. So, in her desperation, she makes a copy of her daughter, which is where Fate comes in. She is then entrusted with her memories and then tasked to find these so-called jewel seeds to try and bring back her daughter. That is the gist of Fate's story in this case. Now, Nanoha does run into the Time Space Administration Bureau, or TSAB, and she learns from them about the whole thing, what Yuno is doing, and who is causing the trouble on Earth. Well, when Nanoha and Fate cross paths, Nanoha understands that one, she's like the same as her age, and obviously she's being used, or at least she knows that something's wrong with her. And it takes Arf, the familiar of Fate, to realize that something's off. So she then confides in Nanoha and Yuno and asks them to help Fate in trying to realize her ways. Which then leads to probably the coolest and most well devised duel between these two girls. And Fate is going all out, Nanoha goes all out, and basically Nanoha gets the upper hand, and frankly, she just obliterates Fate with her best attack, Starlight Breaker. And that pretty much not only is going to do her in, but Nanoha knows that there's only a certain way to try to get her to listen. And when Arf and Fate switch sides and Precia Testarossa gets wind of it, well, that's when things take a turn slightly for the worst. Obviously, Nanoha does manage to get her to snap out of it, and as well as Arf. And obviously, she surrenders herself to the TSAB. But it also shows that Fate, in this case, is psychologically damaged and mentally, because all she wanted was to be accepted and loved by this mother figure, which she never does. And eventually, she will get adopted by Lindy in part 2. In this case, Ace. That's the sequel to it. Nanoha, while I haven't read much on the manga with regards to her background and all of that, I know it's there. I will eventually take a look into it. But as you can see, I'm sort of giving a brief summary in terms of the movie and the first season itself. But obviously, she's referred to as the White Devil. And if you don't notice, look at the design of her barrier jacket. And also, some fans point out that this is kind of like a meme or pun with the name itself. Basically, White Demon Cannon is basically how she's jokingly referred to. But with that being said, that is just my rough summary on the first season of Mahou Shoujo Lyrical Nanoha. Again, happy birthday again to Nanoha Takamachi. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the like and subscribe button. I will eventually be doing a full-on analysis of the first season itself. But this has been Skyhound, also known as Geek Detective Pierce. Stay safe and stay sane, and as always, stay humble. Yeah.